whether you are young or old, whether you are gay or straight, whether you are black or white or Chinese or Indian, no matter who you are, you have equal worth. All people are made equal, equal in value, equal in dignity. But what does that mean? And on what basis can we affirm people's equal value and equal worth? In this video, I want to argue three things. That the necessary precondition for equal human value, for the equality of all human beings, is non-naturalism. Now, what do I mean by non-naturalism? Well, by naturalism, I mean the view that all that exists is physical stuff. Everything in the universe is comprised of physical material. You are just your body. There is nothing beyond the natural world. That's the view of the physicalist. This view, I think, cannot ground the equal value of human beings. And in fact, this view necessarily lends to an inequality inherent in human beings. There are three reasons why I think this is the case, and I'll argue it along metaphysical lines. That is, metaphysics is the study of what the universe is sort of comprises of, what the stuff is the universe, what is behind physics, what does it consist of. There is ethical considerations that prevent us from saying human beings, or that require us to say that the equality of human beings requires some sort of transcendent source. And there are aesthetic considerations. So on metaphysical considerations, if we are just our bodies, if we are just physical stuff, it is necessarily the case that human beings have different values, different inherent dignity. Whatever we mean by the word value, whatever we mean when we say human beings are valuable, if we are just physical things, then this word value cannot connote anything beyond the physical. It has to be strictly defined in terms of what is physical. But the fact is that every single human being has a different physical constitution. No matter who you are, some people are taller, some people are shorter, some people are stronger, some people are weaker. Physical traits cannot be enough to say every human being is equal, because on a purely physical basis, every human being is inherently unequal. Now, there are ethical considerations that prevent us from saying that people are equally valuable apart from a non-naturalistic worldview. Suppose that the world is just matter. It's just physical stuff. Well, then on what basis do we say, on what objective basis do we say, every single human being is equally dignified? Now, we could say, as Sam Harris does, that the good is defined with respect to human flourishing. So that which is good is that which increases human flourishing, and if the intrinsic value of human beings is somehow tied to the good, well, then we could say maybe the inherent value of human beings consists in their capacity to contribute to the good, and therefore their capacity to contribute to human flourishing. But that leads to a problem. Not all human beings have equal capacities to contribute to human flourishing. Some humans are inherently smarter than other humans. Some humans are stronger than other humans. Some humans are disabled and therefore can't contribute much to human flourishing. But we certainly don't want to say that those humans are less valuable than other humans who can contribute more to human flourishing. So we need some sort of objective ethical basis upon which to say people are objectively equal in value. There are aesthetic considerations, or maybe we could reterm this axiological considerations. Axiology is just the study of value. I value, for example, spending time with my wife. Well, why do I value that? Axiology seeks to answer the question, what is value, and why do we value things? So along axiological or aesthetic lines, and aesthetics being just the study of beauty, I don't think a naturalist can actually give a coherent definition of what it means to say a human being is valuable. A naturalist can say, well, human beings matter equally to me, but apart from any objective foundation, a naturalist cannot say that it is wrong to value some human beings more than others. There has to be some sort of objective standard upon which we can stand in order to make a judgment that human beings are equally valuable. Well, what consideration can the theist give? Specifically, the Christian theist. Now, typically, Christians answer this question, like how do Christians say that all people are equally valuable? Christians give an answer to this question by saying all people are made in the image of God. But how does that ground the equal value of human beings? Atheists have, I think rightly, pointed out that just saying everyone is created in the image of God doesn't automatically make, at least not self-evidently, make all human beings equally valuable. So we need some sort of definition, A, of what value is, and B, we need some sort of rationale for why being created in the image of God lends itself to saying everyone is equally valuable. So here are some answers I think can be given. So on the first, what is value from a theistic perspective? What does theism have to offer, specifically Christian theism, have to offer over and against non-theism or naturalistic views? Well, on theism, to be made in the image of God means that every human being was made to reflect God's beauty into the world, to rule the world as royal representatives of the Creator. So what does that mean? Well, it means that every single human being has the capacity, therefore, to reflect the beauty of God into the world. So here's what I want to propose as a Christian theist myself. I would argue that value consists in, the value of creatures consists in creaturely capacity to reflect the beauty of God. And on this level, all human beings are equally valuable because all human beings equally have and have equally the capacity to reflect God's beauty in equally beautiful ways. And who determines whether those ways are equally beautiful? Well, of course, the Creator himself, the Creator's character. So which reflects more beauty, for example, if we were to hash this out a little bit more? Which reflects more beauty, a symphony or a painting? Well, you can't really, just by virtue of being a symphony or by virtue of being a painting, neither one reflects more or less beauty than the other. Both of them can be equally beautiful, but in different ways. And it's my contention that human beings are equally beautiful in that they have the capacity to reflect God's beauty equally, but in different ways. Human beings are differently constituted from person to person. And the unique proportion and combination of everyone's gifts has a capacity, an equal capacity to reflect the beauty of God. So that would be what constitutes value. And therefore, this would be why being made in the image of God gives us a basis to say every single human being is equally valuable. So then here are some considerations that at least should lead us first to reject naturalism, and second, to at least view some sort of theistic account, and I would argue a Judeo-Christian theistic account, as preferable to an atheistic or a naturalistic, rather, account. First, we know that human beings are equally valuable. And we know that the person who says that, for example, women are less valuable than men because men are in general more physically strong, or the person who says people with Down syndrome are less valuable than those without Down syndrome, we know that they are horribly wrong. But in order to make that judgment, we need some sort of objective standard upon which we can say that is wrong. If you were to say that something is more right or more wrong than another, you need to say that with respect to some sort of standard. So, for example, if an answer on a history test is more right than another answer, that's with respect to the objective facts of history. If you were to say that an answer on a math test is correct, is more right, and that you can be wrong to answers on a math test, you have to have some sort of objective standard that defines what is right and what is wrong in the domain of math. Similarly, if we can be wrong, if humans can be wrong in saying that some humans are less valuable than other humans, well, then we need some sort of objective basis for making that value judgment or that axiological judgment. But as we've shown, naturalism can't provide that basis. that leads us to reject naturalism. Now, Christian theism, on the other hand, can account for such an objective basis, as I have just shown. And that raises the probability of Christian theism over naturalism. And so it should at least raise us to consider, well, maybe, just maybe, we live in a God-haunted world. And maybe, just maybe, the reason you think that the laugh of a person with Down syndrome, that their existence is just as important as your existence or my existence, is because we live in a God-haunted world.